Just as I was preparing to return to the company after the spring festival, I was informed that I had lost my job. The one who replaced me was Kevin's first love, Margaret. I questioned him why, and he just said indifferently, "Mom and Dad have always wanted a child. Isn't it good for you to stay at home and prepare for pregnancy? It will be too late when you get older." I didn't believe it and accused him of still having feelings for his first love and wanting me to make way for her. He had always been gentle and considerate, but suddenly he flew into a rage and slapped me, saying, "If you slander me and Margaret again, don't blame me for being rude." I was disheartened and handed him a divorce agreement. However, later, when I was surrounded by male models and was about to touch their abdominal muscles, Kevin grabbed my wrist, and there was crazy jealousy in his eyes. "Nora, I just went on a business trip. Why did you divorce me and are fooling around with these dubious men here?" Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful novels every day. Now the story begins. Kevin, what right do you have to fire me? Looking at the notification email sent by the HR department, I suppressed my anger and said to Kevin, clearly, I had just secured a major project before the new year and led the company to achieve new revenue. Kevin glanced at me casually and replied, "Nora, Mom and Dad have always wanted a child. Isn't it good for you to stay at home and prepare for pregnancy? It will be too late when you get older." I sneered and said, "What does it have to do with me that your parents want a child?" Kevin, we agreed before getting married that the decision about having a child would be based on my wishes. I'm currently in the rising stage of my career and don't want to prepare for pregnancy. You should ask the HR department to transfer me back to the company. Kevin's tone became a bit impatient. The work has already been handed over. It will be too troublesome to transfer you back. Just focus on preparing for pregnancy, and we'll talk about everything after you give birth to the baby. Just then, Kevin's phone rang. Although Kevin turned off the screen quickly, out of the corner of my eye, I still caught a glimpse of the name, Margaret. I asked, "What about your parents wanting a child and being afraid of the trouble of personnel transfer? Don't tell me you want me to make way for your first love Margaret who just returned to the country." Margaret was the goddess that Kevin had a crush on during his university days. However, before he could win her heart, she went abroad. She had been abroad all these years and had just divorced her abusive husband and returned to the country recently. Kevin's face changed, and his voice turned cold. He said, "Nora, don't slander Margaret. I'm doing this so that Mom and Dad can have a grandchild as soon as possible. As for her replacing you, it's because I consider her an overseas returnee with both education and ability. Besides, she has just divorced and has no relatives in the country. What's wrong with helping her as an old classmate at the right time? She's so poor now, but you're being so suspicious. It's really too much. I didn't expect that the person who replaced me at work was actually Margaret." A surge of anger welled up in my heart, and I replied, "I'm too much. Ever since she returned to the country, you've been running around her. Is it me being suspicious, or do you have something to hide?" I thought of these days and just felt wronged. On New Year's Eve, Margaret returned to the country. Kevin left me and the sumptuous New Year's Eve dinner I had carefully prepared to pick her up at the airport. On the first day of the Lunar New Year, we had originally planned to go on a trip to another city. However, with just one phone call from Margaret saying, "Kevin, I dreamed that he hit me last night." Kevin left me alone in a strange city, even the night before last, when I had a gastric hemorrhage and called Kevin to take me to the hospital. He said he was too busy with work to spare the time, but the next day, I scrolled through Margaret's Instagram. I've been afraid of thunder and rain since I was a child. Fortunately, there's a considerate him by my side, and he even made me a calming soup. The picture accompanying the caption was of a man wearing an apron. Although it was just a back view, I recognized the watch on his wrist at a glance. It was a gift I had carefully chosen for a long time and given to Kevin on our wedding anniversary last year. That day, I was pale and in excruciating pain. If it weren't for the cleaning aunt who took me to the hospital, I might have died. Yet Kevin was accompanying another woman. At this moment, Kevin's face darkened suddenly. He walked up to me and suddenly raised his hand and slapped me. "Nora, I've made it very clear to you. There's nothing between me and Margaret. If you slander me and Margaret again, don't blame me for being rude. People only fly into a rage when their innermost thoughts are exposed." After being in love and married for so many years, this was the first time Kevin had hit me, and it was even for another woman. I looked at Kevin and suddenly felt a bit unfamiliar with him. He used to be extremely gentle and considerate to me, not to mention hitting me. He would be extremely distressed even if I got a minor scrape. Just then, his phone rang again. This time, he didn't hang up. His cold tone suddenly turned gentle. It doesn't matter if you're not familiar with it. I'll go to the company right now and teach you step by step. Okay, I'll buy it for you. I remember you loved the strawberry shortcake from that store the most during our university days. I didn't expect that after all these years. Your taste hasn't changed. While I was in a daze, Kevin slammed the door and left. Back then, I advised you to hold on to your shares. But you, little fool, gave them all to Kevin and even made him the president. You were just working hard and only had a nominal position. On the other end of the phone, my best friend Polly said with a sense of frustration at my situation. So what are you going to do next? I thought of the slap Kevin gave me in the morning and his gentle tone on the phone, and I felt a sharp pain in my heart. I replied, I'm getting a divorce. I don't accept the fading of love, nor do I accept infidelity and betrayal. Polly responded with an okay and continued, then why don't you come and work in my company after the divorce? My dad handed the company over to me a few years ago, and it's been doing well recently. I will definitely not let your talents go to waste. A wave of gratitude welled up in my heart, and I said, Polly, thank you. So, in the following days, I was looking for a lawyer to write the divorce agreement. Sister Nora, the woman who replaced you not only knows nothing but also flirts with Mr. Kevin all day long. You should come to the company and take care of this. Just then, my former assistant Mary sent me a WeChat message, followed by 2 videos. I clicked on the first video and saw Margaret, wearing a mini skirt and a deep V-neck top, leaning against Kevin. They seemed to be discussing documents, but there was an overwhelming amount of ambiguity in their eyes. In the second video, Kevin carried the drunk Margaret in his arms and placed her in the passenger seat that used to be exclusively mine. Margaret then seemingly casually raised her head and kissed Kevin on the lips. After a few seconds of silence, I replied, I see. Thank you, Mary. If there are similar things, please continue to take videos and send them to me. The next second, I found Kevin's phone number. After having an argument with Kevin that morning, he didn't come back for several days and only sent a message saying that he was working overtime at the company. It was only on the 20th attempt that Kevin answered the phone. Nora, are you annoying? I've told you I'm very busy recently. Kevin's tone was full of impatience. I've sent a document to your email. Please take a look at it and sign it now, and then send it back to me immediately. I replied calmly. I just wanted to sever my relationship with Kevin as soon as possible, and I was worried that he had been out of contact for several days. So I urged him. Kevin sneered and said, You've already resigned. What document do you want me to sign? I didn't want to talk to him anymore and just said, You'll know what the document is after you look at it. Send it to me quickly, or I'll burn the photo album in the innermost drawer of your study. Nora, don't you dare touch that photo album. Kevin suddenly roared at me like a madman. That photo album was filled with photos of Margaret during her university days and was hidden by Kevin in the most inconspicuous place. The next second, there was a new email from Kevin in my inbox. I've sent it. I'm warning you. Don't touch that photo album before I get back. Kevin continued. Kevin, did I make Nora angry because you've been with me for too many days? I'm sorry. It's all my fault. Just then, a coquettish female voice came from the other end of the phone, and the next second, a fit of sobbing and crying followed. No, it's Nora who's being unreasonable. How could it be your fault? Margaret, don't cry. I didn't want to listen to their sweet words anymore, so I hung up the phone directly and then sent the divorce agreement to the lawyer. The next day, Kevin came back home unexpectedly. As soon as he saw me, he pushed me onto the bed. I pushed Kevin away and said, Kevin, what are you going crazy for? Kevin pressed me down again and started tearing at my clothes, biting and clawing at my neck like a mad dog. This was something the gentle and loving him from the past would never do. You called me yesterday saying you were in a hurry to sign a document, but actually, you just wanted to remind me to come back and have a baby with you. Right. What are you pretending for now? Kevin trapped me in his arms, kissing me while roughly pulling my hair. You even threatened me with Margaret's photo album. Nora, how could you be so shameless? You just want me to have a baby with you so that you can go back to the company as soon as possible. Right. I'll fulfill your wish now. A searing pain came from the top of my head. With all my strength, I finally pushed Kevin away again. Kevin hit the table and let out a cry of pain. I got up and slapped him without hesitation. Kevin, who wants to have a baby with you? You think too highly of yourself. If you continue like this, I'll sue you for marital rape. I looked at him coldly, but my heart was filled with infinite sadness. I had never imagined that the person who used to be so close and wonderful would suddenly end up like this. There was not even a shred of dignity left. Clearly, just the day before New Year's Eve, we had agreed to spend year after year together. Kevin sneered and gave up on continuing, but he still looked at me with contempt. I'm your husband. You're going to sue me. Nora, you're really crazy. These words made me realize that Kevin hadn't carefully read the document I gave him before signing it last time. I looked at him and said, fooling around with other women and not caring about your wife's feelings at all. Don't you feel guilty when you say you're my husband? Kevin's face turned cold, and he said with a hint of embarrassment, what do you mean by fooling around? I've already told you that there's nothing between me and Margaret. She just got divorced and came back to the country, and she needs a lot of help in her life and work. Why can't you understand? I chuckled lightly, thinking that Kevin was just deceiving himself and refused to admit that he couldn't forget his first love. Just then, Kevin's phone rang again. The woman's crying voice came from the other end once more, and Kevin patiently coaxed her for a while. I haven't forgotten your birthday. I just came home to deal with something. I'll come over right away. Kevin hung up the phone, looked at me for a few seconds, and finally stuffed a box into my hand. Okay, Nora, I don't want to argue with you. I've been a bit irrational recently. I was wrong a few days ago. This is my apology to you. Today is Margaret's birthday. She has no relatives in the country and is alone. I have to go and accompany her. Starting from tomorrow, I'll come home to spend the night. After Kevin finished speaking, he was about to leave when he caught a glimpse of the suitcase that had been moved out next to the wardrobe. Kevin asked, what are you packing for? Where are you going on a trip? I was extremely disappointed in him and didn't want to explain too much. I just replied indifferently, I'm going on a trip with Polly for a few days. Kevin hesitated for a few seconds because I used to be very clingy to him and would have liked to be with him 365 days a year. I rarely went on trips with others during my free time, but the iMessage notification sounds kept ringing one after another. In the end, Kevin didn't ask anything and left in a hurry. The next second, a message from Polly popped up. Honey, I'm waiting for you downstairs. Getting into Polly's car, the loneliness I had felt while staying at home alone these days was instantly dispelled. Polly and I chatted about everything under the sun, and I had never felt so cheerful. With your ability and our friendship, since you've come, I must make you a vice president at least. I'm not like that stingy and sly Kevin. Clearly, you two founded the company together, but he not only didn't give you shares but also only made you a director. As Polly drove, she said these words, and I suddenly felt that the void in my heart was filled by her. Isn't this the silk scarf that comes with that necklace that was just released recently? Did you get that necklace so quickly? Just as I opened the box that Kevin had stuffed into my hand, Polly asked, a silk scarf that comes with a necklace. I was taken aback for a moment, and suddenly realized something, but soon I calmed down again. I just smiled at Polly and said, stop the car. When the car stopped steadily, I threw the box into the trash bin without hesitation. Kevin gave it to me. Things from a scumbag aren't worth keeping. At this moment, Kevin sent me an iMessage. I have a temporary business trip next week and won't be coming back. I'll make it up to you when I return. I didn't reply and directly blocked and deleted his iMessage. The divorce cooling off period hadn't passed yet, and I temporarily stayed at Polly's house. Soon, I took over the affairs of the company. At first, there were a lot of rumors, but with my education, my ability, and the many major projects I had secured recently, the gossip in the company quickly died down. Just then, Kevin called me, and he started scolding me right away. Nora, what on earth are you up to? Why did you block me on iMessage and start working at Polly's company? And why did you snatch Margaret's project? Do you know how much she has put into this project recently? Many people in the company were already dissatisfied with her sudden arrival and urgently needed this project to establish her prestige. Aren't you trying to drive her to a dead end? I chuckled lightly and said calmly, her project. Before she came, I accompanied several business dinners and revised the plan dozens of times to secure this project. How could I just give it to her for nothing? In the business world, it's not about giving in, it's about strength. If she can't do it well and everyone is dissatisfied with her, then you should just let her go. After saying that, I hung up the phone and blocked his number as well. The next time I saw Kevin was a week later. I was accompanying a client, the founder of the Sia Corporation, with Polly. She was an independent woman in her 30s, young, successful, and free-spirited. She ordered several male models for Polly and me in one go. Just as I was eagerly about to touch their abdominal muscles, my wrist was grabbed. I looked up and met Kevin's gloomy eyes, which were filled with crazy jealousy. Nora, I just went on a business trip. Why did you divorce me and are fooling around with these dubious men here? Kevin dragged me out and forcefully stuffed me into his car. Kevin, what are you going crazy for? We're already divorced. Don't pester me. I tried to open the car door, but Kevin grabbed my wrist tightly. The next second, the car window slowly rose, separating us from the outside world. I won't divorce you. Kevin's face suddenly leaned close to mine, and the way he looked at me seemed to be the same as when he used to love me. I didn't read the document you sent me last time carefully. I only took a good look at it when I was cleaning my email yesterday. Nora, are you mad at me because I haven't spent enough time with you recently? So you're deliberately trying to make me angry. You can be angry, but please don't do it this way. Okay. Marriage isn't a joke. I pushed Kevin away and said, you know that marriage isn't a joke. So you can be ambiguous with Margaret. But I can't divorce you and find male models. Kevin replied, Nora, I'm not being ambiguous. I just want to help Margaret. Kevin tried to kiss me, but I turned my head aside and avoided it. Kevin was taken aback for a moment and seemed a bit hurt as he said, stop being angry about this. I'll clear your shopping cart for you as compensation. Okay. I just found it ridiculous and said, the silk scarf that was a free gift you gave me before, is that also compensation? You gave the necklace to Margaret and the free gift to me. Kevin, there's really no need for that. I have the ability to earn money and don't need you to clear my shopping cart. Kevin looked ashamed and said eagerly, I was in a hurry last time and didn't prepare well. Margaret is an outsider, and it was her birthday. I couldn't very well give her a free gift as a present, could I? Nora, you're my wife. You should be able to understand me. Right. As Kevin spoke, he pressed me down again and tried to kiss me. Just then, there were loud crashing sounds one after another, and the whole car began to shake violently. Kevin rolled down the car window, revealing Polly's furious face. It's this scumbag who dragged my friend away and is trying to do something bad to her. You guys, take him away quickly, Polly said to the two staff members in security uniforms behind her. I opened the car door. And the next second, Kevin was subdued with his hands behind his back. Polly said viciously to him, you scumbag. Stop pestering our Nora. I didn't want to entangle with Kevin anymore. I grabbed Polly and turned to leave. But Kevin's shouts came from behind. Nora, the divorce cooling off period hasn't passed yet. I won't divorce you. We've been together for so many years. I know you're just impulsive. You still love me. I turned around and looked at him, replying coldly, you can go ahead and cause trouble and withdraw the divorce application. But in the end, we will still get a divorce. You're fickle and don't abide by male morality. I won't be with you anymore. I think you're dirty. Kevin applied to withdraw the divorce application, but he didn't know that he was pushing himself into a pit of fire. I sorted out all the videos that Mary had sent me in the past month. Among them, there were videos of the two of them going to hotels and kissing and hugging at company parties. I sent all of them to the lawyer. In the end, Kevin and I still got divorced, and because Kevin had an affair during the marriage, most of the property was allocated to me. I thought that after reaching this point, Kevin wouldn't pester me anymore, but I didn't expect that in the evening after work. I ran into him again downstairs of the company. Kevin was holding a large bouquet of roses and blocked my way. Nora, I know I was wrong. Come home with me. Kevin's words were sincere, and his expression was touching, as if he really couldn't live without me. I looked at him calmly and said, Kevin, we're already divorced. It's completely over. Kevin didn't want to let me go and continued. No, we can remarry even after a divorce. We're not over. We've been together for so many years. Nora, how can you bear to leave me? I don't want you to prepare for pregnancy anymore. I can also let you return to the company right away. As long as you come with me, I'll give you everything. As Kevin spoke, he started crying. I looked at him, feeling nothing inside, and even a bit confused and amused. We had loved each other deeply and gone through many difficulties and setbacks together. But when the moonlight of our youth shone down, Kevin had chosen to give me up, abandon me, and even hurt me. I didn't understand. He was the one who made the choice. So why was he the one regretting it now? I don't need it. What I want, I'll strive for myself. I don't need your charity. Also, I really don't love you anymore. If you pester me again, I'll sue you for sexual harassment. I wanted to leave, but Kevin suddenly knelt down in front of me and couldn't stop crying. I know. Are you still angry about Margaret? I won't contact her anymore. Please forgive me. Okay. More and more people gathered around. I just looked at him coldly and said, if you want to kneel, then kneel. This time, I walked around Kevin without hesitation. Whispers around us gradually increased. That seems to be MS, Jessica's ex-husband. I heard he had an affair and gave MS, Jessica's previous job to his mistress. My goodness, isn't he a scumbag? Such an excellent woman like Miss Jessica is really unlucky to have such a man. For a moment, everyone spoke ill of Kevin. Some even went so far as to pour coffee on him and throw all kinds of garbage at him. Kevin looked at me pitifully, with tears still in the corners of his eyes. I left without hesitation. I felt extremely satisfied inside. I heard from people in the company that Kevin came to look for you again. You didn't change your mind, did you? The next day at work, Polly specifically came to my office to ask me. I smiled and said, how is that possible? Of course, I won't jump out of the fire pit and jump back in right away. Only then did Polly feel relieved and continued. After you left, you took away a large number of clients. Margaret, who replaced you, isn't capable enough and has lost several projects. I heard that the Song Corporation isn't having an easy time recently. No wonder Kevin was so eager to beg me to remarry and wanted me to return to the company. I just smiled at Polly and said, no matter what Kevin and the Song Corporation are like now, it has nothing to do with me. Days passed peacefully, and Kevin didn't come to look for me for a long time. Just when I thought everything was over, I didn't expect that Margaret came to find me. Nora is a poor wretch who can't stand others being loved. And she's also an immoral bitch who specializes in stealing people's business. If you cooperate with her, I advise you to think twice. I was talking about cooperation with a client in a coffee shop when Margaret rushed in like this. As she spoke, she picked up the coffee on the table and poured it on me. This was the first time I had seen Margaret in many years, and she looked no different from the way Kevin had loved her back then. She was beautiful and charming, yet proud and mean. I apologized to the client, made an appointment for the next meeting, and then went back to find her. Nora, you bitch. You're frustrated in love, so you come to mess up my business. You're really shameless. Margaret looked at me haughtily, chuckled, and continued. But I can understand you. You thought you had a happy marriage, but you didn't expect that as soon as I got divorced and returned to the country, Kevin came back to me. I'm a strong female lead like this. You must be so envious, jealous, and hateful that you're keeping an eye on me. I looked at Margaret, feeling no emotion inside, and said calmly, Kevin is someone I discarded, and the business is something I worked hard for myself, not something I got by relying on a man like you did. Envious and jealous of you. You're not worthy of that. I picked up another cup of coffee on the table and poured it over Margaret's head. Nora, are you crazy? Margaret was furious, and her delicate face was now twisted beyond recognition. I'll beat you to death. You bitch. Margaret raised her hand to slap me. Just as I was about to reach out, another hand grabbed her wrist. Try touching a single hair on her head. Kevin stood in front of me, and Margaret looked at him in a daze. Kevin, how could you be mean to me for her sake? And she was the one who spoke rudely to me first. I just wanted to teach this bitch a lesson. Margaret's eyes suddenly turned red, and she sobbed and said in a coquettish voice. But Kevin was surprisingly cold at this moment. Nora is my wife, so of course I'll protect her. You're the bitch. If you speak rudely again, don't blame me for being rude. I looked at Kevin and suddenly remembered that early morning when he hit me. He said that if I slandered Margaret again, he wouldn't be lenient with me. But now he was standing in front of me, protecting me as if he loved me so much. It was so hypocritical and ridiculous. Margaret started crying pitifully. Kevin, Nora stole a lot of my clients. I was so angry that I came to settle the score with her. Why aren't you on my side? We were so in love some days ago and even had a relationship. Just because I made you lose a few businesses, you're turning your back on me. Kevin's face changed, and he eagerly explained, who was in love with you? I just felt sorry for you and wanted to help you as a classmate. And if you hadn't gotten me drunk, who would have had a relationship with you? Don't talk nonsense in front of Nora. The two of them kept arguing with each other. I didn't want to watch them fight like dogs anymore. So I turned around and left. The next time I saw Kevin was downstairs of the company the next day. This time, he was wearing the white shirt he had worn when we first met. standing quietly not far away. It made people think of that clean and gentle teenager from our university days. But my heart didn't flutter like it used to back then. Nora, I've fired Margaret, and I've completely cut off contact with her. Can we start over? Kevin gently tugged at my sleeve and looked at me tenderly. We can't go back. I pushed Kevin's hand away without hesitation and continued. I've already started a new life. Kevin, what you're doing is just making me feel disgusted. Kevin's tears flowed quietly, and his whole body was shaking. Nora, I really was wrong. We have so many wonderful memories. I really can't bear to let you go. Don't leave me. Okay. The more humble Kevin became, the more ridiculous I found it. I looked at him and said, from New Year's Eve until you fired me, you left me behind so many times. Every time. I begged you not to leave me. But did you care about me? Kevin, you chose this path yourself. Stop pretending to be affectionate and putting on an act here. I gave him a look of disgust. Kevin opened his mouth as if he wanted to say something, but the next second, he was interrupted. Mr. Kevin, we need to ask you some questions. Please come with us. Several policemen suddenly came over and said they were going to take Kevin away. As he was leaving, Kevin still said to me, Nora, I really regret it. And she just got divorced and has no relatives in the country. What's wrong with helping her as an old classmate at the right time? She's so pitiful now. But you're being so suspicious. It's really too much. Margaret was sentenced, and the Song Corporation went bankrupt. After the divorce, I stopped paying attention to Kevin and the Song Corporation. It was Polly who told me. And then I found out. Margaret embezzled a huge amount of money in Kevin's name. After you left, the management and operation of Kevin's company haven't been going well. In the end, it couldn't pay off its debts and went bankrupt. Polly said slowly. But I didn't feel much emotion inside. No wonder he was so eager to get back together with you. He probably wanted you to help him pay off his debts. I didn't know whether Kevin really regretted it and wanted to get back together with me or if it was for the sake of his own interests. I just felt that everything in the past had nothing to do with me anymore. Kevin never came to look for me again, but I saw him once through the glass of a coffee shop. He looked haggard and in a sorry state. He was handing out flyers on the street. There was no ripple in my heart. I just stood up, left the coffee shop, and walked in the opposite direction. A new year arrived again. Polly's company was thriving, and a celebration banquet was held. At the banquet, Polly said to all the employees, in the first year that Miss Jessica joined us, she brought us many major projects, doubling and redoubling the company's profits. Let's raise our glasses and pay tribute to Miss Jessica. For a moment, all kinds of cheers and blessings came pouring in. At this time, I received a text message from an unknown number. I've done a lot of things wrong, and I know I'm not qualified to win you back. I just hope you'll be safe, happy, and content for the rest of your life. I knew who sent this message, but I didn't want to reply. After clicking the delete and block buttons, I threw my phone into my bag. In private, Polly came over, clinked glasses with me quietly, and said with a smile, you got rid of that scumbag and your career is rising. Nora, congratulations. I wish you a future full of flowers and smooth sailing. I hugged the slightly tipsy Polly and said, Polly, thank you. I wouldn't have made it to this day without you. Polly smiled and said softly, it's not because of me. It's because of you, Nora. It's because you have the courage to break away from the past and the ambition to always move forward. It's because you're great yourself. That's why you have this day. The bright moon shone brightly and fell at my feet through the window. I smiled and raised my glass to Polly. Then let's wish that we will always be our best selves. Always have the courage and ambition.